YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with another Washington football team video, and in today's video I'm coming on here with my preview between the Washington football team and the New York Giants week 2 matchup on Thursday Night Football. This is a huge game for the Washington football team, and we need to win this game. Both teams are looking to avoid going 0-2 to start off their season, but this game is huge for the Washington football team. So let's get straight into the preview. I want to kick off the preview by talking about the injury report for this game coming up here, and the Washington football team is pretty much clean when it comes to the injury report. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, I assume he's going to be taken off the injury report within the next week because he is on IR. But our only injury was Antonio Gibson. He had a shoulder injury. He was limited yesterday, but he was a full participant today, so he is good to go. When you go to the New York Giants side of the injury report, they're not so clean, as they have linebacker Cam Brown dealing with a hamstring injury. He did not practice on Monday, he did not practice on Tuesday, and he did not practice on Wednesday, and he will be out for this game. So that is a big blow for the New York Giants. Then you move on down to another injury for the New York Giants is tight end Evan Ingram. He's dealing with a calf injury. He did not practice Monday, he did not practice Tuesday, and he did not practice on Wednesday, and he is out for tomorrow's game. This is probably the biggest name on this list for the New York Giants, as Evan Ingram is dealing with a calf injury, and he will be missing his second game of the season. So he is out once again. Evan Ingram is out. Next person on their injury report is Shane Lemieux. He's dealing with a knee injury. He did not practice on Monday, he did not practice on Tuesday, and he did not practice on Wednesday. So he is out. Another blow for the New York Giants, as they are missing, I want to say he's their starting guard, and that is a big blow for the New York Giants. Then you move on to the last person, running back Saquon Barkley, dealing with the knee injury. As we know, he's coming back off of a torn ACL last year. He was limited on Monday, he was limited on Tuesday, and he was limited on Wednesday, and he is questionable to go. He played in week 1, so I am sure he is going to play in week 2. So coming off of that injury report, the New York Giants are coming in this game really banged up, as they are missing a lot of players, a lot of key players, I may add, especially Evan Ingram. Although a lot of Giants fans dislike Evan Ingram, they don't think he's good, and quite frankly, he's not good in my opinion. He has all the intangibles to be good, but for some reason, he always just cannot put it together. Now, when he plays us, he finds a way to kill us regardless. You know what I'm saying? We can't cover a tight end to save our lives, and this is going back to 2014, 15. You know what I'm saying? And Evan Ingram, I'm really glad he isn't playing. They have Kyle Rudolph as a backup. You know, I don't wish injury on nobody, but I'm glad that he isn't playing, because we probably weren't going to be able to check him. I'll be 100% honest with you. Evan Ingram isn't that good as far as putting it all together. He has all the intangibles, like I said, to be good, but when he plays Washington, for some reason, and this is with any tight end, they become good against us. So that is some great news for the Washington football team heading into this game there. So kicking off this preview, I want to talk about the Giants game versus the Broncos. The Broncos just straight up shredded the New York Giants throughout the whole game. They showed some weaknesses that I believe we can take advantage of. They weren't really able to get the running game going. Saquon Barkley was struggling. Daniel Jones wasn't looking the best. Had a couple of turnovers in that game, noticeably a fumble. Does that come to no surprise? No. That's why he's earned the nickname Danny Fumbles. Now, don't get me wrong. They did struggle in that Denver Broncos game, but they have a lot of talent on that offense. Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. Although a lot of Giants fans dislike Darius Slayton, he is still some talent. You look in their backfield, they have Devontae Booker as a backup who can be really solid. And like I said, their offense is really good in my opinion. It's just like us, the biggest question mark on our offense is quarterback. For them, it's the same thing. I look at the Giants as twins, because it seems like they're dealing with the same issues as us coming into the season. We were going to ride our defenses to lead us to the promised land, and that still can happen. You know, it's only week 1, but based off of the week 1 performances, both defenses wasn't looking that good. Then you look at the offensive side of the ball, we got some new acquisitions. They got Kenny Golladay, we got Curtis Samuel, and the biggest issue with our offense is the quarterback position. Our offense could be as good as it wants to be, but if our quarterback position is weak, we're not going nowhere. They have Daniel Jones, who's in his third year, and a lot of people don't think he's the future for the New York Giants. You look at us, we had Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now he's injured and he's on this shelf, so we're looking to hand the reins to Taylor Heinicke. A lot of us Washington fans are excited about Taylor Heinicke because we think we know what we can get out of Taylor Heinicke. The New York Giants doesn't have a lot of film on Taylor Heinicke, so we can take advantage of that just a little bit. That defense is capable of getting shredded. But like I said, I believe we are twins in the sense of we have the same problems and we have the same strengths. Our defenses is our strengths, and our weakness is our quarterback position because we don't know what we're going to get out of them. And we have some solid wide receivers. You look at Terry McLaurin, our number one wide receiver will be matched up against their number one corner, James Bradbury. The last time they matched up, it was a good battle. Coming to our wide receiver too, you have De'Ami Brown, and you have Cam Sims, who really didn't get utilized a lot in the game versus the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers did a good job of trying to take out Terry McLaurin in that first half because he did not have a reception into the second half of that game, and you cannot have that. You have to get your number one wide receiver touches early and often. It is mandatory that you get your wide receiver one in the game early because you do not want to have him not having a reception into the second half. That is just terrible offensive play calling by Scott Turner and designing plays to get open for Terry McLaurin. But once again, hats off to the Chargers. When you look at the New York Giants offensive side of things, they are really loaded. Like I said, Kenny Golladay, when healthy, is one of the best wide receivers in all of football. They have Kadarius Toney, they have Sterling Shepard, they have some talent on that offense. But I do think Washington's defense could get the better of their offense because they're struggling a lot, similar to us. And the big reason for that is their quarterback position, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones just doesn't look really good, or he didn't have a good performance in week one. So I do think Washington can take advantage of Daniel Jones because a lot of Giants fans don't think he is the future, and I hate Daniel Jones. I know you guys know that, and the reason why I hate Daniel Jones is my most hated NFL players because they were compared back and forth coming out of college, Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins, and Dwayne Haskins didn't pan out for us, and Daniel Jones is still on the Giants, and a lot of Giants fans love Daniel Jones, and they want to talk about how good Danny Dimes is. I hate Daniel Jones. He's my most hated NFL player in the NFL. I dislike Daniel Jones with a passion, and I'm pretty sure you guys know that. So it'll bring nothing more joy to my face than finally beating him. Not to mention, another reason why I hate him is because we haven't beat him yet. So this is going to be the game where I believe Washington finally puts that to rest because we need to beat Daniel Jones. We are the only reason Daniel Jones still has a job, in my opinion, because he is 4-0 against us. That cannot continue to happen, and I don't think it will happen. When you look at the Giants offensive line, like I said, they are missing their guard, Shane Lemieux. They have Andrew Thomas, who really picked it up towards the end of last year. But if you go to some Giants content creators like Bad Dog, he talked about how that offensive line does not really look good, and I believe Washington can finally get on track by going up against this offensive line because last week the Chargers game planned well for them. Yeah, we got a little bit of pressure, but it was not nearly enough to affect Justin Herbert to throw him off his game. So I do think this is going to be the week where our defense finally makes their season debut, and they're out of the off season because last week they were pretty much quiet for the whole game. When you look at some key matchups, you look at Kenny Golladay versus William Jackson, you look at Terry McLaurin versus James Bradbury. Although Evan Ingram is out of this game, you look at Kyle Rudolph versus our linebacking core. How are we going to fare? Because Jared Cook last week tore us to shreds. Is Kyle Rudolph going to be able to do the same? I don't know. I hope he can't. I want to see how Cole Holcomb fares against him. I want to see how Jamin Davis fares against him. I want to see how John Bostic fares against him. Another matchup that you want to look up for is our linebacking core again versus their run game. Saquon Barkley was pretty much a non-factor last week versus the Denver Broncos, but for some reason, every time he plays us, he tears us to shreds. This could be the perfect game for New York for Saquon Barkley to get back on track. I hope it doesn't, though. You know what I'm saying? I think our defensive line is going to be up for the task. I think we can shut down Saquon Barkley for the second straight week as he was shut down in Denver. Now, like I said, their offense is really good. In my opinion, Daniel Jones is just the person that's holding them back from being successful as they can. But I do think Washington's defense can take advantage of this offense. Like I said, the offensive line isn't really good. Jason Garrett, a lot of people question his play calling. Daniel Jones is their main source that's holding them back from being really good. If we can get pressure in Daniel Jones's face, we can force him to get the ball out quick. He doesn't get comfortable back there. We can win this game, guys. I'm telling you, this is a guy that has about 1 million fumbles in his first 3 years of his NFL career. So if we can get some pressure on him, we know he's going going to be loose with the ball, we got to be jarring at the ball. When we go for a sack or we go for a hit on him, we got to hit at the ball because we know he's going to be loose with it. So we have to jump on these loose balls because I'm guaranteeing at least 2 forced fumbles. I don't know if we recover them, but I'm going to say at least 2 fumbles that are going to be hitting the deck, hitting the ground, caused by our defensive line. Our defensive line can get after Daniel Jones all game long, and I really do think it's going to be a tough day for Daniel Jones. Now you flip sides and look at our offense. We have Taylor Heinicke. This is what everyone wants to talk about because what does Taylor Heinicke bring to us? I think Taylor Heinicke should have been the starting quarterback to start off the season. You guys know I wanted Taylor Heinicke to start week 1. We didn't get that, but unfortunately Ryan Fitzpatrick went down. It can be a blessing in disguise. I think Taylor Heinicke could really have a good game against this Giants defense because he can take advantage of the short week and he can take advantage of not having that much film. The Giants not having that much film on Taylor Heinicke. So I really do think this could be the game that Taylor Heinicke has a huge game, but this is going to be his first time being the starter, being the guy. He's going to be his first full game. So I want to see how he fares against the Giants defense. When you look at their defensive line, it's really good. They lost Devlin Thomas, but they're still led by Leonard Williams. Their linebackers, they have Blake Martinez too, but Leonard Williams, I want to talk about that defensive line because that defensive line can be really good. Although they don't apply a lot of pressure, they are one of the best run defending defensive lines in all of football. I remember last year we couldn't run the ball on them for nothing. Leonard Williams was killing us last year. That is the main guy that I'm scared of on that defensive line. If we can take care of Leonard Williams, double team him for the whole game, he's going to be lined up in the inside against probably Brandon Sheriff. They're probably going to move him around, line him up on the outside against Samuel Cosme. So we have to have him double teamed every single time. Force Ojulari and all those other guys to beat us. Just don't allow Leonard Williams to beat us. And I really do think this team is going to be in good shape to win. So there you have it. That is my preview. Just a little quick preview about this game tomorrow. You guys know I will be streaming the game. I think this team could finally get their first win of the season because the Giants are coming off of a abysmal performance against the Denver Broncos. We lost 2, but the Giants look really worse than in their loss than we did in ours. If we take care of the ball, we limit the turnovers, and we actually score in the red zone, this can be a really good game for Washington. I think we are going to get the job done because Taylor Heinicke is under center, and he gives this team a different chance to win. He gives this team a different vibe, a different momentum when he's under center. So I do think Washington is going to get the win, and they're going to advance 1-1 on the season. I'll say my score prediction is probably 26-16 Washington. What are your guys' score prediction? Do you have us win? Do you have us lose? Be unbiased as possible in the comment section. As always, this is me, boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe, help the Washington football team. See you guys tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Peace. Cost me one time, that's gonna get you pop. Get you pop, get you drop. Slide on the one where that get you boxed on. I ain't stopping till I get me a on the mall. Shots in his head, ring his bell like